Welcome. This is Crime Queen. If you're joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we get excited about love. This is where we ignite that which dwells from within us, that which comes alive, makes us smile. Hence, we say the crimson light is life. So, the crimson light is our journey to actualizing soulful love. This is where we are having fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. And in numerology, this is Mother Eve. This is the dots. We are dots. Now, how I got to this conclusion. Of course, I was asking in meditation, well, I want to be able to have an understanding about the makeup or what constitutes Mother Eve in our signature, that is on us, the God signature on us as Mother Eve, because we understand it, or Christ, because we understand that when we are in Christ, from the Christian teaching, we are a new creature. So this is our template, and this is Mother Eve. So if you have followed my previous or early presentations, Mother Eve looks somewhat different to this. But this is Mother Eve more in the flesh now, you could say, although we are Mother Eve. And but here is the I am that I am, and we are connecting the dots. So if you're able to see dots on the face here, this is a representation of that we are connecting dots. So before we go on too far here, I am now wanting to do a presentation on the word, on the number one. I am revisiting number one. So in revisiting number one, for instance, so we have one. And we know that one derives from, we could add 37, 3 and 7 together, that would be 10. So that would be 1. We could add 8, 9 and 1. 9 plus 1 would be 10, so that would be 1. We could have just 10, 5 and 5, 10. That would be 1. And how else would one? 6 and 4, which is the sacrifice. This is how we got sacrifice. It's 4 and 6, 46. 4 and 6 is number. So anytime 4 and 6, anytime we are with these digits that come to number 10, we are in number 1. This is how numerology works. Okay. So this is what we are. In fact, here in the sacrifice, which is from 4, sacrifices added from 4, we have 4 and 6. So we could see 4 is here. Here, in that 4, also presents us with 10, because when we add the numerical values from 1 to 4, we get 10. So we can see how 1, this is 1 here as well. This is 1, so that's 10. And there we see, if we were to add that 1 and 5, we get 6. How we have also arrived at 6 here. When we add 3 5s, 15, 1 and 5 is 6. So we see how those numbers, they interplay with each other. All right, so looking at number 1, this is what we see when we do these numerical values. The character or the breakdown in how they come give us the pattern and gives us the construct of that which is we are meant to be paying attention to. And it's perhaps no wonder we see that 46 comes here. The 46, which comes, of course, it ends on the Eve here, or Rev, but we see Mother Eve here is here. Mother Eve has a role. She plays that role here. And if you watch any of, in fact, I have just done a couple presentations where I made note about God divided the waters from the waters. 5 and 5 is 10. This is the waters from the waters here. This is where we are reacquainting ourselves with our north, south, east, and west, with our south and our north, meaning the earth, and the heaven as well. So we see how these functions have been playing out in this part here. Now, to confirm this um, 10 number here, because we are using sacrifice as one of, or as the main template or the main hanger, it's the tree, it's the hanger, it's that which we anchor everything onto. 9 has the numerical value for, R has the numerical value for 9, or 9 is the numerical value for 9. And if we were to add 1 and 9 together, that would be 10 as well. So we can see here, it's as if it's providing us like a shortcut sort of thing, it sounds like. But instead of having that 1 where we are going this way, we are also faced with that 1 here. It's as if when we get to this point here, we are reacquainting ourselves with what happened in our jazz in column right here. So we are faced with the same 1 an hour here and 1 an hour here. Isn't that wonderful? It's as if we can meet with God no matter where we're at. This is where it is said God meets us at whatever point we are. But this is giving us a point of orientate ourselves with where we're at. When we are on 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's as if you have the full scope of the room that you're in, because you can see every 4 points of that room. Or when you are on top of a roof, you can see the 4 points where of the north, south, east, and west. And that's the beauty about being in that 5. That's what happens there. But we are talking about 1. So let's just go on to 1 here. So I have done 1 before, but let's do 1 again. So we are looking at the number 1, but in numerology, and what I really am now understanding with the Bible, the King James Bible, it's about numerology. It may be about other things, about those stories that we learn too, but it is about numerology. So the number 1, which when we write 1, this is what we get. 6, 5, 5. 5 and 5, 10. 10 and 6 is 16. So God created the heavens and the earth, we are told, in 6 days. 6 days. On the 7th day he rested. So we are seeing 1 here, 1 to 6. And when we add 1 and 6 together, we get 7. So in actual fact, it's almost like we could say, well, God created everything in 1 day. Now, that would make sense too, because when we are visualizing something that we really want, or a manifestation of what we want to happen in our lives, in that moment of decision, in fact, decide is 3. I hadn't done the numerical value for decision, but let's hold on to decide, which is number 3 here. Number 3, we see that in Christian understanding, we talk about the Trinity, but also with God, or we have been looking at with Christ. We have been looking at breast, which is 3 vibrations. When we look at science, that tells us about how we can use the vibrations to change the thought patterns in our minds. So we see how that 3 comes into play. So I'm making mention of 3 because in that 7 here, 7 is showing 1, which is, it's as if 1 is 7. Not it's as if, it is. It is. But we are also seeing from this point of creation, that which gives birth to something, like a woman, the word woman equals 3. One woman gives birth. equals 3. She gives birth to something that constitutes everything 7 is. Everything God created. So we see the breast nurtures. It nurtures, hence I also refer to it as the Passover. There is that cut-off point where God divided everything He'd done. He saw it was good, meaning there was two of each thing. So this is why, again, whether it was that God that created this Adam, we are told about the two Adams. So Adam, who had whose rib was taken out to have Eve, but then there was this other Eve that we are not hearing much about, which was the waters, which was that which birthed. All it really needed was God to look upon it, and then there was something, the Spirit of God. It was like, you could say, a man looks on a woman and she blushes. There is a interaction that happens. So there was movement. The eyes looked and there was movement. Oh, someone's looking at me and she's all excited, or something happens, something there, an ignition gets activated. So, of course, it is also said in the form of like a man and a woman having sex. This has also been something that has been mentioned. But I am also looking at this in the term of number 1. So we see in that vibration, the frequency, and we see 7, which equals 7. So even if we were to have that vibration added to 7, that would give us 10. That would be 10. So we are looking at the Trinity, which is part of that 7 as well. We also see that 3, in fact, I believe that in the numerical values, I am trying to be certain about this. The numerical value that was added to the name change in Abraham was 9, but 3 is a 9. So but we can see how 3 has been very active in everything we do. So here we are. We see the construct of 3, and we see the construct of 7, which also is termed as a magic number, 37. Okay, so the number 1, we know it is independent. It is that, of course, when God looked, I think the word looked, and God looked upon the face of the waters. I believe the word looked was there. But let's just play with this. So this is 9. Okay, all right, let's do this. 4, 5, 2, 6, 6, 3. So 6 and 6, 12, and 3, 15, and 5 here, 20, and so this is 24, 24, and 2, 26. So this is 8. Now, isn't that... So God looked upon the face of the waters, or onto the deep of the waters, onto the deep. God looked upon the deep. Okay, let's look at the word deep. I think the word deep is 21. Let's see, deep. But before I go on to this word, we see the word looked. It's the eyes as well. So the 2 eyes, here it goes back to Eve, and she saw it was good. She saw that the fruit was good to eat. And we see the word looked is really pertaining to the eye as well. So God, of course, the word God, this is where we are seeing everything has this numerical value with it. This is what happens with the King James Version. God looked. It's like with the word God is 17, that equals 8. The word looked, if God looked, that also equals 8. So we can see that it's the two, 8 and 8 together, 8 and 8, 16. 16 comes to 1. This 8, God looked, 8 and 8 together equals 16, and 1 and 6 is 5. So we see how the construct of one, that was one action, that was one, that was the action, that act that had taken place. God looked onto the face of the deep. So that's what happens whenever we are doing these numerical values, and we are seeing this is where Emmett Fox comes in again. It's like everything has to find something like itself to attach to. So that's what we see happens. And of course, if et, being reciprocating that, et, the act of eating, to eat equals 8. Eat, so that eat and et of the fruit, that is in direct correlation with the word looked. And so we can see how everything intermarries. So there was oneness in those 8s, that infinite line that was happening here. Isn't that beautiful? I think it is. So here we can see. And then, of course, when it said God breathed, the word breathed equals 3. This is where that vibration as well came into play. And let's just make sure that we are following this right with the word breathed. B-R-E-A-T-H-E-D. So this is, yes, I believe so. So this is 4, 5, 8, 2, 1, 5, 9, 2. Whenever we see that B word, that B letter here, we know that it's serious. This is where that 13 came in. Okay, so let's do it like this. So this is 9, this is 9, this is and 10, 19, and 1, 20. 20 and 5 is 25, and 9 is 34, and 2, 34, 36. So 36, this would be 9. So breathed is 9. So this is interesting. Have I checked this correctly? Okay. So that's 9. 5 and 4, 9. 9 and 10 is 19, and 1, 20. 25 and 9 is 34. 34, 35, 36. That's correct. So this is 9. Okay. I thought it was 3. But we see it is, of course, multiplied by 3. Or it's well, divisible, multiplied, and it's the same. And the deep is 5, and this is 10, and 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So deep is 3. So there we see how this first act had also entailed the word numerical value for 3. So I really don't want to go on too long with this this one, but we see 1 equals heaven, 1 equals Satan, 1 equals hell, and there's a 1 equals spirit, and I also think mirror. Let's do mirror, M-I-R-R-O-R. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 nines. 4 nines are 36, and 10 is 46. Okay, so mirror is yes. So mirror is directly in direct correlation with sacrifice. 46. There we go. 4 and 6 is 10. So we can see, and that is what was very significant. If anything, God saw there was a reflection, there was mirror. That's what happens in water. Water shows us who and what we are. When we look in the waters, we can see what is very transparent. It's no wonder we are 80%, 70, 80% water. So there we are. This is my take on number one, that by this mirror, which it is mirror, so it's as if one, the number one, has in it the ability to reflect itself. So that's how powerful number one is. It has that ability, whether it was heaven, hell, or whatever it was, or spirit. And of course, this is why spirit moved. And the number five is moved. So there we are. Let's just put a few words here that entail, and I have done that. If you see anything with mirror, it perhaps is very close to this, but I thought I would revisit this. So mirror, M-I-R-O-R, is 46, and that's one. We have spirit, S-P-I-R-I-I-T, that's 3 nines, 27, or 4 nines, 46, and 147. This is spirit. So spirit is really, because we are believing that's what the spirit of God moved. So that is perhaps no wonder why it is said it's such a powerful and perfect number, 37. And there is much more to 37, because we have seen 7 has the ability, to slice through. Okay, spirit, hell too. Hell. This is 8 and 5, 13 and 6. 13 and 6, let's do this, is 19. 1 and 9 is 10. So we see hell takes you, for you to experience hell, you have to go through the whole 19. So all these are number ones. Number ones. Okay. Okay. And we have Adam. Adam or man. M-A-N. Let's just do man. That is 4, 1, and 5. And that is 10, directly 10. So, yes. And Satan too. S-A-T-A-N. Showing the power. Satan is directly 10. I have done this as well. So there we are. We have a list of 10s and much more. So what I will do, let's not go into that right now. But we understand one. If we look at mirror, it's able to really tell us, show us, it can be thought-provoking to say, well, this is how you look, and maybe you want to change this or that about you. Spirit moves, and then it really prompts us to get up and do something, and which is what happened in creation. We see that. Hell, oh my, we are so hot, we want to get out of there. So these are things that really 10 really is like showing us, it's presenting a purity, if you like, of whatever is. The word is 10 as well. So basically 10 is. Let's just do that. Whatever is, when we see is, equals 10. 9 and 1. 91 before we get to 100. So basically that's what it is. And well, I hope you have enjoyed this, because this is our number one. I'm doing one and I'm going through the numbers at least to 9, and later on I'm going to do more, but I'm doing numbers from 1 to 9 right now, and let's see how we can understand that. So we know that number 1 is 7. Everything would have happened in that 7, because what I was saying earlier, we imagine something with that vibrational frequency and we can create, because that's what 3 does. Imagine. That reminds me, let me just quickly do the word imagine. Or I could do it in another. I think imagine, that's 10, 19, 20, 7, 27 and 3, 31. Oh, it's 4, 40. Okay, I'm going to Oh, or image. I think I was looking at, but imagine is really nice to know that we have that four. So we'll get back to this. Remember that we are dealing with number one, and number one has in it that ability, it's that vibration. In fact, I'm going to show you what another aspect of that vibration is. So I'm going to have part two of number one. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this presentation, click the like button and share, because this is how we do it. We share to actualizing soulful love. Stay blessed, stay bright, be blissful, be ignited, and be filled, because we are planting new seeds. Namaste. And spill over with love.